three.
Sure.
Quickfire, ready?
Okay.
Okay, out of each one, S2000 or Integra?
Integra.
EF or EG?
EG. I've had both.
NSX or R34 GTR?
NSX or what?
And R34 GTR.
Both.
Ah, yes.
Government officials insist that this an isolated incident different from the We will continue to keep you informed as this story unfolds.
Mims.
This story unfolds.
Order anything yet?
So I'm Dav, I'm the organizer of Mims Honda Day. So Mims started in South Mims service station in just the north of the M25 in London. That was in 2009. It was just a car park meet, you know, people gathering, having some foods, socializing. So that's where it started in 2009. Obviously, for 10 years, we're now here at the Nurburgring as a full-on car show. So between that, we've had various locations in the UK. The main one was at Rockingham Speedway, which is now closed down. So we're going to be having a new one from next year. Then we usually have 3 editions per year. So we had one at Sandspod for all the drag races. Then we had one at Rockingham for all the people who wanted to go on track. And then we usually had one sort of towards the end of the year, which was a big indoor event. So, you know, before it was even a show, there was always 3 editions at South Mims service station. So I tried to keep that going as the shows, and keep the name as well. So, you know, the event was called South Mims Honda Meet, and everyone used to just call it Mims, which is where we got the name for it. So I made a logo, you know, started up here as a show. The reason why it started as a show was in the South Mims service station, we literally took over all the car parks. So the main car park, the lorry car park, the coach area, it got so big that we couldn't continue it there. So management, you know, they were very, they wanted us to continue, but it just wasn't, you know, it just didn't fit. So we had to turn it into a show. That happened in 2014. Like I said, we had various locations there. But then we kind of ended up at Rockingham, which was a very, very good location as it was central, kind of central in the UK. You had the track day, you had show and shine, you had everything there. So that's where the main one was. And yeah, now we're here at the Nurburgring. I started doing two, the last 2 years I've done them in Belgium. But obviously Nurburgring is, you can't really get a better venue than this. So I think from now on we're going to be continuing it at Nurburgring, and we hope people support and attend so we can grow the Honda scene all together. Nurburgring, you know, it's such a special place. You know, every single petrolhead in the world would know about Nurburgring. So it's a great location. You know, the facilities are, you know, second to none. And you know, you have the indoor area, you have the main ring to go on, you have the GP track you could go on as a public track day at the moment. In the future, we're going to try and have this and the GP track, or just the GP track, so you have the track time as well. Obviously, we need people to support and continue supporting so we can grow it to that part there.
So I work with a lot of event series, all types of cars, many Honda-specific events, and I pride myself on finding and working and developing relationships with other like-minded people. Mims is an event thrown by a person who isn't just trying to make money. It's not just about business. It's about community and culture. Dav cares about fostering an environment where people can come and be together, and that means a lot to me. So I come all the way from the States to be here because I believe in the concept and the premise behind Mims, and then also to simply be able to have the honor and pleasure of being with enthusiasts from literally across the globe. So Mims is a great meet that I have the lucky coincidence, you could say, of believing in on a profound level, and I ended up developing a friendship with Dav, which wouldn't happen if he was not a good person, to put it simply. So you have cars that I love, a community and culture that I love, and a person whose event premise is something that is aligned with the way I think. And so it's really just the perfect set of circumstances. If you go to a P-Car Club meeting, they're passionate, right? If you go to any type of DTM meeting, they're passionate. Any other type of Japanese import culture, they're passionate. It isn't different in that sense. Everyone loves cars, but everyone ends up finding this one manufacturer or this one style that somehow resonates with them. Something about it makes them attracted to it. And for me, import culture in Southern California was essentially second nature by the time I became a youngster. And the Honda community, for reasons that are maybe not be tangible, right? The styling of Hondas, the 90s, quintessential 90s Japanese cars, anything from an FD RX-7 to an NA1 NSX stood out to me. And the Honda community ended up just being one that I embraced. And almost 20 years later, I couldn't see myself being so deeply intertwined in any other culture. But really, in the end, we're all car people, man. Like music, I have maybe 5 or 10 favorite songs, and on one day it would be one song, and if you ask me, maybe due to mood, due to something else going on in life, it might be another. And I feel like that's kind of how it is with some of the Hondas that I love. On one week, if you ask me, it'll be one, and on another week it'll be another. So I guess if you take something like the EG, right, that was my first car, so I love that car for those types of reasons, sentimental reasons. But I fell in love with it as a kid because of the shape, something about the 92 to 95 Civic bubble, as they like to call it. It wasn't soft or feminine per se, but it was this tiny econo box that had a plethora of Japanese support, and you're able to create just fantastic builds. And on another day, if you ask me, it's going to be the NA1 NSX. This, Senna, part of the build and the design, space age aluminum frame, perfectly balanced. It outperformed supercars, quadruple its price, and so for that reason, it would be that car. And I could give you about 3 other ones that, depending on when you ask me. So I'm sorry, the answer is not going to be an easy one from me. I think it is an incredible venue and move on Mimms' part. Mimms is from the UK, and Dav keeps his eye on the global, especially European scene. So then there's a Belgium event, and then now he's moved over here to. I mean, this is probably the greatest track on planet Earth. No one really debates that. This is the pinnacle, and to have. First of all, I wasn't aware of how beautiful the grounds were. I mean, I knew that it's a track, and a big one at that, in a town. But to know how elaborate the buildings are and the grounds and how many different, settings they have here. So for a Honda community to have an event at the world's most famous track, I think it's massive, And the potential is amazing, and I think that it is a fantastic move on Dav's part, and the community is showing that they appreciate it as well.